So, Nancy, thank you so much for taking the time to being a part of our community of practice channel here on YouTube. And on behalf of SETI, I want to thank you so much for your leadership today.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Awesome. So, as always, we begin by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, if you can please do us the honors by introducing yourself to our listeners and viewers and tell us about your amazing work.
For sure. So, hi everyone. My name is Nancy Wanye, and I'm currently the Manager of External Affairs with Cooperatives and Mutuals Canada, or CMC for short. And in my work, really involved in external facing interactions with government, with sector partners, with members in some capacity. And CMC's role in the co-op ecosystem is to really be the national voice for co-ops and mutuals in Canada. So that means working with the federal government and working with sector partners to create an environment where co-ops can be started, can grow, can get access to funding, financing, just like any other small, medium-sized businesses in Canada. And for the larger co-ops that are doing big business, for them to also be seen and considered, just like the other big businesses in Canada. So in this moment of our history in Canada, where we're facing such a complex set of issues, both nationally and globally, we really want to ensure that the government and our leaders, our policymakers, are seeing the work that co-ops are doing in their communities, whether it's a small co-op, local co-op, a childcare co-op, or a large agricultural co-op, or a large housing co-op. We want the government to be able to see that we are part of that solution of progressing the economy, of bringing social cohesion, of just building resiliency within our communities. And so a lot of my work is involving that, ensuring we're part of that conversation, and that they're seeing that within the co-op system, there's a lot of diversity and democracy that can really be beneficial for the rest of Canada. So that's a little bit about me, and my world, my professional world has really revolved always around policy, advocacy, and business partnering. So it's been a bit of, where I've played in the past couple of years.
Okay, that's perfect. Because yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, where does this passion come from, and the desire to take on this role. So yeah, that's awesome. You want to
Yeah.
add? You want to add anything to that?
Yeah, for sure. I can add a little bit to that. My initial background was in business. So I went to business school and I was always interested in how businesses could be agents for good. So yes, go after profit, but how do we use that profit to do good in our communities? And so that's always been my passion because growing up, giving back to the community, volunteering was a big part of my family's history and story. And so that's been my interest. And as I shifted to public policy, it continues to be, how can we bring different actors, government, society, business, academia to work towards a positive impact, as I believe those different stakeholders hold a key piece, right? The society, we hold a key piece of that. Businesses have a key piece. So I'm passionate about, how do we bring those actors to make change, positive change that can impact all of us for the better.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for your service. So, let me ask you, what challenges or barriers have you faced in your work, and how have you overcome them, or in the process of overcoming them?
So I think if I speak from a systemic kind of corporate approach for the co-ops and mutual sector, though we provide tremendous value, I'm sure your listeners, all of us in the community, have interacted with a co-op in some capacity, whether we knew it or not. So whether it's economic, social, environmental, there's a lot of value to be had, but we're often overlooked, we're often misunderstood, we're often unknown, right? Kind of the best kept secret out there. And so it's been challenging to bring that story to the forefront and to really bring multiple voices. So it's not just kind of the typical person that you would think is part of a co-op, right? To bring a diversity of voices around that, youth, indigenous, BIPOC, etc., where we see that it's a movement for everyone, and it's a sector where there are different voices, different actors playing. So that's been a challenge. And I think for me personally, coming into this space, I'm new into the co-op and mutuals world. So I come from a business background, and so coming with a lot of passion and as I shared with that vision of really thinking we can make a change, but recognizing that my experience is really private sector, very, very different, very corporate. So having to learn, right, to go on that journey of for my own learning about sector, learning about the history, and then bringing new ideas as a new voice into the sector, to bring new ideas that can hopefully impact for the better.
Well, that's amazing when you're new in something, but you already feel the passion, like it's already exuding out of you,
Yes.
something that, yeah, that's what they say. Sometimes you don't find your career, the career finds you because it's just
All
that
right.
perfect match. That's,
Yes.
that's beautiful. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, is there anything new, anything that you want to amplify at this time?
So right now, as I shared, we all knew that for anyone watching the news or anyone working in a sector that is touching people, where we're all focused on the news, right? We see that Canada is really at a crossroads where our federal government is making some big decisions around, infrastructure to fund or programs and services to fund. And we really want to ensure that as the government is thinking big and bold and, pipelines or bridges, that they're also thinking, how do we preserve or grow and build social cohesion? How do we enable those in the communities that are already doing really great work? It may not be, building a pipeline or building, but, to recognize that those people are doing a very important work, whether it's around the work that SETSI is doing or the work that the co-op sector as a movement is doing. It's amplifying that and helping them to see that and to be reflected in policy. So funding decisions, financing decisions. We're expecting a budget in the fall, so we're really going to work hard to ensure that in that budget it reflects all of that. It doesn't just tell one story around, we need to provide money for defense and the big things, but how are we also taking care of the people? And as the election showed us, people are feeling weary of change, wanting to be comforted, assured that things are going to be okay. And we have a number of actors who are playing in those spaces. So I really want to see that they're being backed with the right funding and the right supports to continue their work, even as the government looks to other bigger outlets. So that's my hope, and that's where my work and my focus will be, is around how we put some of those policies and ideas out there so that the government can latch onto them and see the value and reflect it in funding and policy and programming.
Awesome, awesome. So let me ask you, what does success look like to you?
That's a really good question. I think for me, from a corporate, um, speaking for the co-op sector, I think it would be to finally be seen, right? To finally like, oh, they get it, that we're a key player, we're a key part, and then for that to be reflected, not just oh yeah, we see you. So we had a congress 2 weeks ago where we got some welcome video remarks from some ministers, and in those videos, it's a closed room. They were saying all the right things, right? That you guys are a key part of the economy, a key part. And I think, my success would be for them to say it in the public squares, on their social media, on, at the cabinet table. So that would be success for us and for our sector, so that we can finally start to see some of that recognition. And for me, I think personally, just to be able to see those people those co-ops and those people that are behind the scenes doing the work that they believe in, right? Doing work that because for their community or for whatever is driving them, to see them be valued, right? To see them know that they're valued and that their work is seen and that they're encouraged to continue that work, because we all know it's hard work, right? The community building, the day in and day out, it's a lot of hard work. So for that systemic change to start by them being valued, and if my work can contribute to that, that would be, a big success for me.
Absolutely. Being recognized and knowing that, you know, it's not just about words. It's really about putting, boots on the ground, that real grassroots
Yes.
work, and that's what we
Yes.
do. And, again, it's about people, passion, and purpose, right? That's what we're trying to
Yes.
really accomplish in whatever order you want.
Yes.
those are the three P's that we're really trying to attain. And, I know a lot of people feel very eerie. They feel like things are not really stable.
Yeah.
Where's the future going? Especially our generations that are coming, they're holding us
Yes.
accountable. It's like, they're not taking it like maybe our generation. So
Yeah.
my last question for you is just please give us your words of wisdom, your closing thoughts for us as we end.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I think for for that generation, the up and coming, I think they have so much to give, right? The older generations, and I really want them to feel hopeful about their future and about they are the agents of change. You can go out there and create the change or lobby or advocate if you're not seeing that change and vote with your money or vote with your real votes. So to take that action if things are not moving and to to choose hope. And I think for those of us involved, whether professionally or just in community building in some capacity, it's to continue taking those steps, right? So if you're not involved, look around. Where can you contribute? Where can you give back? Where do you have skills? Where can you give back at the community level or at the bigger level if that's your space? But I would just encourage everyone that find a place to get involved and go out there and do it. And if you're not seeing the change, vote with your money, vote with your vote, and demand that change because I think we're at a place where we can afford to keep doing business as usual. We can afford for things to just continue down the road they've been. So I would encourage everyone, choose hope and get out there and act.
Absolutely. Well, Nancy, we appreciate you so much and all that you do. We wish you nothing but success,
Thank you.
mental health, physical health, all things that you need to go through this day-to-day journey. It's not an easy road, but they say if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, you go together, right?
For
So
sure.
once again, on behalf of SETSI, we thank you so much, and we will actually close the way that we began by acknowledging the original stewards of the various lands that we are on. We also acknowledge our ancestors. We acknowledge all those who toiled without compassion or compensation. We acknowledge all the elders and community stalwarts whose shoulders we stand on as we build, share, learn together for our collective liberation and sovereignty. So, Nancy, I know this isn't goodbye. This is a see you later. Victor will be
Yes.
sending invites to you
Oh,
to your
excellent. No,
inbox.
thank you
So
so much. Yeah, thank you so much. And I appreciate you guys and the work that you do for the community. Thank you.
awesome, awesome. We'll
All
be in
right.
touch. Thanks so much. Have a
Thanks.
good
Take
one, and
care.
stay cool.
Yes. Take care.
All right, dear. Bye bye.
Bye.